Guys, welcome. My name is Brooks Conkle with Gulf Coast BIZCON. So if you're unfamiliar with BIZCON, what we do is we engage and connect entrepreneurs, small businesses, and side hustlers. We believe that when these folks connect, good stuff happens. So today we've got a guest, and that guest is Jarrett McCraw. I'm going to bring him in just a second. So he's the CEO and partner at Mighty, which is a digital advertising agency, and I'm pretty excited to have Jarrett. So Jarrett, let's bring you in, man. How you doing?
Good, man. How's it going?
Great. It's good to chat with you again, man.
Yeah, this is awesome. You've got quite the setup going here.
Hey, this is all because of you guys referring this new piece of software to us, right? If anyone's watching and seeing how we're doing this, it's a company called StreamYard, and Jarrett was one of the people that helped introduce us to it. So we appreciate that, man. So,
but you just took it to another level. You've got an intro video.
We are doing intro, outro. We're creating a whole show, man. We're creating a whole show. We've got a show. This is gonna go on YouTube. We may even pull audio off and make it into maybe a podcast. We're not sure yet. Like, we're not 100% sure. We're creating the content that that'll add value for folks. So
nice.
That's what we're trying to do, man. That's why I'm bringing you on, man. Let's talk more value. So Mighty, just so people know, Mighty, we involve Jarrett's company in actually creating the branding for Gulf Coast BIZCON, which obviously I'm biased, but I love it. I think it's incredible branding, and so we have you guys to thank for that. So thank you guys, man, for helping us kind of develop that branding. That was a year ago that you guys did that with us. So, Quick fun fact about you, man, before we talk about the serious stuff like the marketing and digital advertising and all that. So is it completely true that you went through 3 rounds of auditions for MTV's Real World? I want to know about that. The people want to know about that, man.
That is a fact.
I love that.
Yeah. So this was back when I was in college, and Real World was a thing. And I was a senior, actually a super senior in college, and I just applied.
What does a super senior mean?
Super senior means you stay for an extra football season.
Okay. All right. I just want to make you say that. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to make sure that seat didn't go empty.
Right. Yeah. Extra support. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have extra support. All right. So you were doing that, and you went to. Did you go to Auburn University?
Yeah, I was at Auburn. Yeah.
You did. Okay. Yeah. But both you and I, War Eagle, man. So
yeah, War Eagle.
Very cool.
So yeah, I just auditioned, and you got to remember, this is before social media. You had to submit a video. I don't even remember how I did it. I think I had a camera, like a digital camera.
Gotcha.
And recorded a video on there and submitted it. And I didn't hear back for a while, and then I went through an email interview, then a phone conversation, and then they called me back, and it was the final interview before they were going to fly me anywhere. And at this point, I had graduated. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget the day they called. I was an intern at Red Square in Mobile.
Okay.
And I was driving home, and they called me, and they said, you made it to the final round. And we were going through the final questions to determine if I was a good candidate. And they asked me, what am I doing now? And I was like, well, I'm starting my career. I'm in a really serious relationship. And the guy was like, and I said, it probably wouldn't be too good. He's like, do you think that's a problem? I was like, yeah, that's probably a problem. And that was the end of the conversation. And that was it.
Holy smokes. That part. So what he said, so on my end, it cut out for a second, but I don't know if in the final recording, if it'll cut out. So I'm actually going to make you repeat that, just because if it doesn't cut out, if it does cut it out, that'll be a bummer. It was like the punchline of what you said. What was it that the guy asked you again?
Yeah. So I'm driving home, and I'm having the final conversation, and he's just kind of qualifying me at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, and he wanted to know, like, what are you doing now? And I said, I've started my career, and I'm in a really serious relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kind of just like, you could hear it kind of deflate out of his voice. And he said, do you think this is going to be a problem for your relationship? And I said, yeah, it probably would be. And he said, well, do you think this would work out? And I said, no, probably not.
Yeah, you're probably not the candidate we're looking for this MTV show. Yeah.
Literally the end of the conversation, and that was it.
Got you. That's cool though, man. That's interesting that you did that. So what year did you graduate at Auburn University?
I graduated in 2008.
2008. Okay, so I graduated in 2006, so a few years before you, and you just made mention of like, man, before social media, whatever, all that. So, man, I remember, I may have told you this story before, I'm not sure, but I remember the day I was introduced to Facebook. It was like this entrepreneur guy that was still at Auburn. He was like always side hustling. Me and him were always talking about stuff. He's like, Brooks, it was in the library at Auburn University. He goes, Brooks, you got to check out this website, thefacebook.com. I was like, what? Okay, like, what is it? He's like, super easy, so easy to get on there and create a profile. You got to check it out. And I was like, okay. So I did it. And I remember like less than 2 weeks later, remember the computer labs we had like all around campus or whatever? Man, I was in one of the computer labs, like just doing some homework or whatever. And I started kind of looking around, just kind of checking out. And I was like, oh my gosh, like everybody is on this website right now. And it was just like this like crazy feeling of me being like, man, this is going to be big. And that was like 2005 or something. That's in the like first couple of years of Facebook. Like we were expanded, right? Like universities were just able to get on Facebook. This is before the general public could even get on Facebook or whatever. We were like a part of the trailblazers, man, that help grow Facebook.
Yeah.
So I hear you on you having to put in your interview video. Yeah, you weren't doing that on your you weren't doing it on your smartphone and uploading it. You were doing it old school style and getting it to them or whatever. So
yeah, I don't even think my phone had a camera at this point.
Yeah, I had a Razr flip phone. I remember that was like the upgrade for me, man. That sucker had a camera. You flipped it out, that Razr, and I remember texting on that was crazy. But yeah, man, I was big timing with that phone. I remember having that one at Auburn. So it's pretty crazy. Well, like, so I know, while we're recording this, we're in the middle of kind of COVID-19 madness. Everyone's on quarantine. We're not going to talk about that forever, but at the same time, like, anyone that's listened to this during that timely manner may get some, tidbits on, what they're doing and how they can pivot or innovate just in regards to that. Like, you guys are, like, y'all have people at your digital marketing agency at your office, and you were just talking about how that's one of the weird adjustments because you're not doing that right now. And so I guess now, are you guys all just kind of working remotely and communicating with each other that way? Is that kind of currently what y'all are doing, or?
Yeah, so we are all at home. And sidebar, you mentioned you don't know when people are going to hear this. It will be interesting for somebody to listen to this like a year from now or 2 years from now and be like, they'll remember it because they were there. It'll be interesting to see where we're at and how this conversation plays out. But yeah, we're all at home right now. So luckily all of our systems are online. So we use Slack, email, a project management platform. All of our software is through the cloud anyway, file management through the cloud. So switching from a technical sense wasn't difficult. But what's more difficult for me is I just like being in the room with people and talking and bouncing ideas off people in real time. And you don't really get that. I mean, you can Slack somebody, but there's a certain level of energy I think that you get in person.
Totally agree with you. Yeah, and you're feeling that, I guess, in full force. So are you guys doing some sort of any kind of online meeting connections, like using a tool like this or Zoom or whatever, where I guess you weren't using that before? Like, are you doing anything like that?
Yeah, we use Zoom for our like internal meetings and client meetings, obviously. Yeah. I mean, we didn't have to use it internally before because we would just meet in person. So if you want to have a quick meeting or just huddle really quickly, you just grab the people and sit at a table. Now you have to schedule it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good point. Yeah, hey, here's the link. Let's meet at this time or whatever, and all connect and brainstorm on this topic. No, that's a great point. And you are right about it being interesting that we're like in the middle of this having this conversation. So 2 years from now, like people may listen to what we're saying and be like, oh, that was a bad decision. What they did was wrong, or that's not how you were supposed to do it, or this is what we did. But like we're not looking hindsight right now, are we? I mean, we're in the middle of it, and we're in the midst of this thing, and so yeah, I
Yeah.
find that super interesting. You're right, man. So, well, so what does a digital agency like yours do? I mean, I'm not saying like pitch mighty, but at the same time, like pitch mighty. Like, what does your company and companies like yours do? Like, what is that kind of the role?
Yeah. So we do a lot outside of just digital as well. So we work with like the University of South Alabama, and
Mm-hmm.
pretty much anything you see either comes from us or their internal marketing department. Same thing with Shoe Station.
Got it.
Really, we do everything from television to outdoor to Facebook ads, Snapchat ads. So we do a whole lot. In terms of digital, what most people think of are like display ads or
Yeah.
social media management. That's typically what people think of.
Right.
But there's even a much broader sort of toolbox than that, because you have like CRMs, funnels, and
True.
just kind of there's a lot to go
Email marketing,
going on.
or
Email
all,
marketing.
all of it being digital ways. So you guys can do all that. And so it's actually interesting what you said about South Alabama Shoe Station, those two entities. So your company is, it sounds like you're almost like an extension of their marketing departments, kind of like
Oh
you.
yeah,
So instead of
absolutely.
gotcha. So instead of them hiring whatever three additional people, full time, they can come to you guys and get creative juices and projects and kind of ramp up stuff with you guys or whatever. Is that kind
Yeah,
of
and I
is that kind of
mean,
how that works?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you nailed it. I mean, a lot of people ask, people who don't work with agencies always ask, like, why would you hire an agency?
Yeah.
Um, because let's be honest, hiring people is cheaper than hiring an agency because we have to mark up our employees' costs, right?
Yeah.
So why would you hire an agency? Well, you hire an agency because we are an extension, we're a partner, and we hire people that are creative, who thrive in a creative atmosphere, and they like to have the ability to work on different things, and they also bring viewpoints from different things that they look at. So what they bring to the table are ideas that if you had a team internally, they would just be tunnel vision on higher education, right? They would never see anything outside
Yep.
of higher education. And eventually what would happen is they would run dry on ideas, and the creative and the ideas would get stale because you'd start to see the same thing over and over again. So the value that an agency brings to the table is always having new ideas, always staying up to date on the latest technology. So really, if you want a team that is going to push your internal team and that you can depend on to always come to the table with something new and fresh, that's why you would hire an agency.
That's huge. That makes complete sense to me. And yeah, so getting out, you just said so many things that actually make sense to me of like why so having them to be able to be creative around each other. It sounds like that creative person at the business could actually be a little dangerous for them in their personality, even like not being in the right atmosphere of like creativity. And then you also targeting people that are working on multiple projects that can bring multiple ideas to the table. And then you're also making me think, man, what if it's a big project that's come into play and it needs like 12 different expertise? That one marketing person you hire may not have all those expertise, but yet your agency may have all those expertise. And so I would assume a project based thing would also be a huge reason to hire a company like yours or any other agency.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah. I
is
mean,
that potentially accurate? Yeah.
you have ebb and flow. Almost every business has some sort of ebb and flow
Mm-hmm.
in what they do. And just like you said, I mean, you bring on a full-time salaried employee. I mean, you're married to that person, for the long
Yep.
term. So if your business dips or you don't need them or they can't do something that you all of a sudden need, they're not really useful to you. And so if you hire an agency, you have the ability to just feed the work you need and get the work back. You're not really married to anything. Even if you're on a retainer, typically that relationship can ebb and flow based on your needs. On the back end, what we're doing, the best analogy I can use is that we're like a general contractor, right?
Uh-huh.
So what we're bringing in are experts in whatever we need, whether it's a video, a developer, whatever it is. We can bring those assets in as needed. And again, you're not signing a long-term deal or a salary with that person.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good point. And like you were saying, I guess if you're on a retainer, for example, if you have a client and you're on a retainer with them, or they have you on retainer, then it's whatever. It's probably a cost that you bill them for a set amount of work, and I'm assuming it could be anything, right? You could do this, or video, or email marketing, like we were talking about earlier, or work on a campaign for a billboard. I mean, I guess it could be any of that stuff. Is that kind of how you guys would work on a retainer basis?
Yeah, most agencies, what they're doing is they're trying to estimate how much resources they're going to need to service your account.
Mm-hmm.
So initially it's going to be scoped on some strategy or some sort of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But like we discussed earlier, I mean, we're all partners in this. So if the client needs to shift resources or shift tactics, like a good agency is going to figure out how to accommodate that. Especially right now, I bet you every agency is bending over.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And so that at the tail end, I know exactly what you said, but it blocked out for me or cut out for me for a second too. Do you know? I'm gonna take a sidestep and just ask. Do you know if with this software, do you know if the recording, if it's making the recording live? I think it is. So I think that if a section is kind of bleeped out on your end, I should probably ask you to repeat, because it's probably going to be like that in the recording, right? Do you know that?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
just tested this earlier. It's just like any other interview that you would do. So yeah, it's going to be bleeped out.
Yeah, I got you, because I know that some softwares will record to your device, like to your computer, but that's not how this works. It's recording the stream. It's recording the live version. So that anyways, yeah. So that's something I'm figuring out. That's something we're figuring out live with the software, that if we get online at a crazy time where tons of people are online, or internet is, or my internet is whatever, then hey, that's a part of what we live with the interview. So yeah, no problem. That's cool. Well, so that makes total sense. So what, I'm just going to ask just something that any business listening to this, maybe that, they're small business, they're an entrepreneur, they're trying to start something, they're a side hustler. I mean, what are just some top things that you think folks should do right? I know this is a super general question, but what are just some action or some marketing things that you think people don't do, but they can do, and they should do? And maybe it's hire an agency, or maybe this is something that they could easily do on their own, and you're like, look, man, you should do these 3 things, today. Do you have anything that pops out at you as those kind of items?
Yeah, just to preface it, I think it's interesting that we're having this discussion right now, because right now what's happening, I think, to every business is we've been in an incredible economic time where there's a lot of money, a lot of opportunity. It's easy to sell an idea, right? There's just too much money out there. And so now what's happening is we're in a very difficult economic time. Everybody's pinching pennies. And what it's forcing people to do, I think, is to revert back to identifying what value they can create, which is the very essence of business, and figuring that out, and then figuring out how they can deliver it. So when everybody hears this afterwards, they will have already figured it out. All we're doing now is being forced to sharpen our skills and sharpen our weapons, and get better at what we do. So to your question, what are those things that you absolutely need to be doing? Those are the things people are doing right now.
Good point. Very good point. The things that people are taking action on right this moment. Right?
Yeah. So had you asked me this 2 months ago, it'd probably be a different answer, but now we know. But I think some things that and it just depends on what kind of business you are. So basically you have B2C and B2B, right? So a retailer, and then you have us as an agency working with other business owners. For a B2B type setting, one thing I've learned is is you should always have like in the back of your mind, whenever you do something, you should have like an offer or a place to send people. You know, you're not out there just talking for the sake of talking. Like you want somebody to take an action, right?
Yeah, good point.
Even you. So like right now you're doing this video.
Yep.
And in your mind, you're like, oh, I'm going to interview a bunch of business people in the area who maybe people know and will listen to. And that will sort of align BIZCON with, you know, their brand equity, right?
Yep.
But what's your end goal? Your end goal is you want people to go to BIZCON. You want them to go check out BIZCON, and you want them to attend BIZCON because they assume that these people you're talking to will be there and they can gain some insights from it, right?
Exactly.
So your call to action is, you know, thanks for listening. I want everybody to go to bizcon.com or gulfcoastbizcon.com, click on buy tickets now. And you're just constantly hammering that, right? Like you want people to take an action out of this. So having that sort of like destination of where do you want somebody to go and what do you want them to do? You really need to have that in your mind. Like what is something you can drive people towards? So like right now, one thing we're doing that we should have done before, and now we're just being forced to do it, is build landing pages. And so each landing page has a very simple URL that I can say. So like you can go to ecommerce.mightyadvertising.com right now. We have a landing page there where you can sign up to start a conversation about selling online. So
if somebody signs up for that e-commerce, does that take them to further steps, or does that just go to the appropriate person, or like how does that work in your specific business?
Yeah, so you just fill out the form. It spits out a notification to our team that we need to reach out to you. We'll set up a phone call and talk about whether or not we can help you.
Gotcha. I love it, man. So even, it's funny you said even we're doing this and we should have been doing this. Like you're no different than any other business. Like you're operating 2 months ago, you were operating as usual, doing your business, doing your stuff, working with your clients. And now even you, like everyone that I literally know. So my wife walks in the door 10 minutes ago, as one side note. She's like, oh, I just thought of my friend, the retailer, who's a local retail shop. It's a women's boutique. She's like, oh, I was just thinking of all the orders she probably placed and now all the events that they're not going to. And then, I thought about market and how they go to market and like how no one's going to go to market because they have all these backlog of product. And literally every business that we look at the moment, like we can trace some sort of cascading effect. Now, there's some businesses that are getting flooded with business, which is thank goodness that is happening for the United States economy and for the world economy. Like, thankfully, but it's so interesting how many businesses are just, forced into different times right now. And so, yeah, you mentioning that about the landing pages, incredible thing for your business, right? Like now Gulf Coast BizCon is producing content now. We're on a rampage to produce a lot of content that I think people get a lot of value from that we were not on track to do 3 months ago. You know what I mean? Like we weren't on track to do that. And it sounds like you didn't have, and those landing pages, maybe they were on your list, but they may have been really far down the list, right? Like you just weren't getting to those items. Same with me with this content. But now you and I and tons of people, businesses, our friends that we know are now all getting to those items right now. And so on one hand, that's kind of like the beauty of the current situation, right? Like doing some of these items that are just really, really innovative and like things that we needed to do. So
yeah, I think landing pages is one of those things, to your point, of like, what's one thing you should do? Landing pages. Like it's the easiest thing. They're not expensive and they live forever. So like even in the case of this video, I mentioned ecommerce.mightyadvertising.com.
Landing page.
That landing page will live there forever. And so for all the hundreds and thousands of people that watch or listen to this, it's always going to be there working 24/7 for us.
Good point. That's good. Landing pages. And landing pages being, what do you recommend people have on those pages? I guess it could be anything. I mean, I guess they could offer a consultation like what you're doing. Most people, I'm assuming, are going to offer something of value on that landing page because what you're wanting is someone's information, right? Like contact info in order to have a conversation. So I guess people, if they're going to create a landing page, they need to have something that they're going to give folks in return, right? For that information. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I mean, it just depends. Like, there's definitely like some methodology around the content that goes on the page. Different people have different structures of content. but you want to have some reason for somebody to reach out to you. So you're kind of like, it's your sales pitch almost. Like, why would they work with you? How does it work? What's the process? What are the benefits? And then if you have something to offer, like a discount or sign up now to incentivize them or make it a time sensitive offer, that always helps as well.
Gotcha. Okay, so landing page, definitely one of those items. Any other items pop off to you in your head of things that people could and should be doing easily, right now?
Yeah, these videos, since we found out about them, I think everybody's doing them now. And as we speak, I'm writing a social media strategy for another company. I think one thing that for whatever reason, there's like a misconception about social media that like there's a level of too much. I don't believe that. I don't believe there's a level of too much. I think the more you,
unpack that a little bit more for me. So like too much posting or being involved in too many platforms,
or
all the above, or what?
Right. So you talk to a lot of people out there, they will probably suggest to you, oh, you should post twice a week or 3 times a week or once a day or whatever the frequency is, right? If you look at some of the people that we all listen to and follow, like the Gary V's, the Grant Cardones, the Tony Robbins, the whoever you follow, and look at the frequency with which they are posting, they're in your face 24/7.
Good point.
And I bet you've never unfollowed them.
That's a good point. You just, that's a good point.
So I don't think you should post like every hour on the hour, but I think you should definitely be posting every day if you can. And if you can figure out the right strategy and the right content for the platform, you should be on as many platforms as you have the ability to produce for.
Do you think people should just, what about for the folks that try to get on all the platforms, but they can't manage all the platforms?
If you can't manage it, bad idea. If you can't manage it, don't do it. But if you can, if you can figure out a way to do it, go for it.
Gotcha. Or I guess, or work your way up, conquer a platform and grow from there or whatever. Okay. So landing pages, creating content, literally video content like we're doing. Yeah. I've seen more people streaming in the last week than I have of people that I know than probably the last year. It's really amazing. It's pushed people to get comfortable, to try it, to whatever. And to me, that's another of those beautiful side effects of what's going on. So landing
and the other thing is like you said, getting comfortable with it. A lot of people think it has to be perfect. They're like, well, what's it going to look like? And they want to get it perfect. By the time it's perfect, like you've already missed the boat, and people don't care about perfect.
That is so well said, man. It's like worth repeating. If you're just kind of listening to this interview, I'm gonna stop you for a second, and we're gonna say that again, because like I think there's so many people out there that haven't put out really useful content or really resourceful stuff that could help a lot of people because they want to figure it all out first or perfect it, which is exactly what you just said. And while I myself, like, you have a brand, so I get it. You want to be responsible and you want to put out something that is of some sort of quality or whatever. Like, I get that. But if you do that to the detriment of putting out content that could help people or is quality information, then you're hurting yourself, you're hurting others, and I'm with you. Just get people to take action and just try it. Because honestly, you can't, like, I know you kind of got me excited on this, man. You can't get good at something without doing it.
Right? Yeah.
Right? Like, for example, this interview we're doing right now, I'm like, man, I want to do 20 interviews with people that I have some sort of connection with so that my 21st interview, I'm prepared when it's whatever, the guy that started some $1 billion business that I cold call that I've never interviewed before. You know what I mean? If I do that interview at interview number 2, That's not good. That needs to be number 22 or whatever, so that I'm a lot more comfortable and I've worked out a lot of kinks and whatever it is that I do, right?
Yeah.
So I think everyone should just. I'm totally with you, man. Take action. I'm glad you said that. Thanks for saying that.
So two other things to that point.
Okay.
If you want it to be perfect and look like, we'll just say Nike or Apple, right? Like you keep like trying to make it perfect. People want to see, they want transparency. They like to see you sitting in front of your whiteboard with the picture of your family behind it,
What about my
like,
ring light? With my ring
yeah,
light?
yeah,
I try to hide that, but there it is, people. Show it to
yeah.
you.
Authenticity. People want to see, they want to see the real you. They don't want to see the fake packaged up you. So messing up, like doing it and letting your kid run into the picture or whatever, like that's all part of what people want to see. If it's too perfect, it doesn't feel authentic. So hopefully that encourages you to not be perfect and to mess up. And,
Yeah.
I got really curious because I do follow Grant Cardone pretty heavily. And if you follow him, if you go look at any of his content or listen to it, he basically has a production studio built in his office right now. Like he can produce a television show in the setup, and he does. But I was like, he hasn't always been like that, and his career didn't really take off until 2000. I think it was like 2012 or 2015, something like that. That's when he really became well known. It's been over a very short period of time. He hasn't been that famous for very long. So if you go to his podcasts and scroll, you can scroll all the way back to 2015 and listen to his first podcasts. It's like him and his wife recording like in their apartment. The sound's terrible. The internet's cutting in and out just like it is with us. They don't really have topics. They're just kind of rambling. And so I found that very encouraging.
Yep.
that what you're seeing him in his current fame and glory. What you didn't see was like the 5 years leading up to that.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
everybody starts out with internet cutting out and terrible picture quality and sound. So it's okay. Just start.
I love that example. And the interesting thing is, he was probably producing some sort of content before that. That's the first thing that you can rewind back and catch that's active online. You can also do that with YouTube. I would invite people to do this on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and you're looking at people's channels that are growing, and you're like, "Hey, man, I want to grow a YouTube channel or whatever." I've done a good bit of research on a number of people. I actually flew out to Austin to go meet this guy that has like 350,000 subscribers, like full-time YouTuber, and does a lot of affiliate marketing and stuff. I wanted to meet him face to face because I wanted to see like, is this guy for real? I just wanted to like meet him, not through the camera, but like meet the real guy. And so we got to meet and have lunch, took a group of people out to lunch. It was really cool. But what's interesting is that you can go to someone's YouTube channel, click on all their videos, and sort it exactly what you said. You can sort it by date and put the oldest first and look at their oldest pieces of content and be like, oh my gosh, if these people can do this, I can do this, or like my friend can do this, or whatever. And it's really, like you said, it's very encouraging to do that. If you yourself are a content creator or are building a brand for your own business or for a client or whatever. So, really, really cool that you mentioned that about Grant Cardone. That's good.
Yeah.
So did you, I guess I didn't get you off track. So landing page, videos, I just didn't want to push to like another question if there's more. Did you have other items along those veins?
Yeah. I mean, those are just like pretty much free things you can do, right? Like you pay to set up that landing page. And then social media, that's in your control, it's just do it.
Exactly. Are you going to do it? Are you going to pay someone to do it? Now, I don't know if people, and I think people know, probably a lot of people listening to this guaranteed will have done lots of social media of some sort. And they know it's work, man. Either, if you're going to do it, if you're going to be on multiple platforms and create the amount of content that we're talking about, first of all, if you're creating the content, you have to create the content. But then to distribute that content in appropriate ways on platforms, it's honest work. It's like real work. And so I know, obviously tons of agencies offer services for creating content, distributing content on social media platforms. But yeah, so I'm with you, but it's totally free if you're willing to put in the sweat equity. Like it's there, right? It's there for the taking. So,
Yeah,
um,
I would tell everybody. So I'm um, I'm not here to sell myself. I'm here to help people, right? So this is what I tell everybody, because a lot of people come to agencies and they think we're just going to like solve their problems and like they can just put everything on autopilot.
yeah,
And that's definitely not how it works. Like we are a partner together. Like we work together, right? So in terms of social media, like I would not hire an agency to handle all of my social media and then not do anything myself. Um, what I
yeah,
would do is use an agency to supplement that. So there are things we can do to create nice, beautiful assets for you. And we can, edit video and do intros and outros and all of that good stuff to really polish it up. But again, going back to the authenticity thing, like people want to see you. They want to see your staff. They want to see your restaurant. They want to see your store. They want to see your products. You would go broke paying an agency to get all that, because it'd be extremely expensive.
yeah. Good point.
So I encourage all business owners, like, get comfortable with it, or find somebody on your team that you're comfortable with putting as a person that can be on camera or that can create the content, because you need some of that, like insider's perspective, some of that, like the experience that somebody can see there. You need some of that content in addition to all of the stuff that the agency is doing, unless you have the resources to pay an agency to do all that.
Yeah,
But I mean, I've yet to see even large companies basically will set up a studio and then their employees come and do like webinars or tutorials or talk about things
yeah.
they're experts on. So just trying to figure out a way that you can work together with either an agency or a social media manager. Like it's not one or the other. I don't think. I think it's a marriage of the two.
That's good, man. That's good. And yeah, and so maybe the agency helps you get that studio set up or
Right.
advises you on that strategy or like, hey, maybe has social media strategy on, hey, these are the two platforms I think would be the best for you guys, and this is what I would do. And then maybe they're implementing, a lot of that, the work. That's a great point. So kind of a marriage of the two ideas. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's good. All right, now if someone has all the money in the world to spend right now, just like kind of unlimited budget, like what do you think is just kind of most effective? Just I mean, we could both say in today's market with what's going on, or just in general. I mean, either one. I'm just kind of curious. If I have tons of money,
Yeah. I mean,
what do you think's effective?
right now, Facebook. I mean, people are probably spending who knows how many hours on Facebook right now.
Yeah.
Google search.
Okay.
You can run ads on Hulu, anything digital right now, right? Because people are sitting in their houses, just wasting time on the internet, and with all the media frenzy on Facebook and all of that, that's a great place to be. And that's one thing that we have a landing page for, digitalads.mightyadvertising.com.
Nice. Okay.
And I actually ramped up our digital advertising spend right now because I know less people are advertising. So when less people advertise, that means the cost gets driven down because there's less competition on the bid. There's more impressions available because there's more people on the internet. So what you have to sort of get comfortable with in your mind right now is that you probably won't see the seeds, the harvest of those seeds you're sowing right now until later on. What you're purchasing right now is brand awareness and attention.
Yep. Yeah. Someone's not picking up the phone necessarily today and going, man, and maybe they are. I mean, maybe they are, but there may be a lot of long-term effects from some of that marketing. So how do you? And I knew that I had read some articles or seen that hey, cost of ads right now today are really low, down on Facebook due to exactly what you said, just pure economics, supply and demand. How do you actually measure that, or how do you know the decrease? So I definitely do some advertising for a couple of different companies, but I definitely am no expert in my ads manager. But I mean, is there a good way to easily know that or measure like based on what you previously did? I guess you'd have to look at what you previously spent, right, in order to
Yeah, you'd have to see
measure.
like if you have to have a previous campaign.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you in your platform, you would see in your ad platform, you would see CPM, cost per thousand impressions, and that's how
So,
you would know.
so basically, you wouldn't know until you start running the new campaign and you're looking at your CPM, saying, "Whoa, this is much lower than it previously
Right.
was." I guess. Okay.
Yeah. But
Okay.
like you said, I mean, basic economics, supply and demand.
Yeah.
Supply is way up, demand is way down.
Yeah. Got you. Okay. So now is that advice the same at any time? So like in the last 12 months, if I had all the money, would you have said the same thing? You know, Facebook ads, whatever, Google ads, search, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff,
the
paid search.
strategy doesn't really change.
Gotcha. Right. It's just a better deal right now.
Better
In
deal.
today. Gotcha. It's just a better deal. Hulu is kind of interesting to me. I don't know anything about that platform. Is that a newer? Well, I'm assuming you've been able to advertise on Hulu for some time, but is that or I don't know. You tell me. Is that a newer strategy, or have they been allowing that?
They've been allowing it. So we've been advertising on Hulu for the past year or two now for some clients. Also Spotify, Snapchat, TikTok. We haven't run ads on TikTok, but I think you can. But yeah, you can run ads on Hulu. Previously, Hulu was pretty expensive. You had to have a pretty significant budget to do it.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I thought I got an email the other day that said they were going to lower it to where it was like self-serve.
Okay.
But yeah, most all of these platforms are rolling out self-service ad platforms that let you just like spend as you go.
What? So you mentioned TikTok. I've been asking everybody what they think about TikTok. What are
My
your what are your
wife is
thoughts? What are
my
your thoughts on
wife has
TikTok?
got me heavily involved in TikTok.
Dude, I think their user base, I don't know, at the end of all of this, I think the user base has grown by like 50%
Dude,
at the end of the next 30, 45, 60 days or whatever. So how long have you been, so like us recording this is April 8th, 2020. How long have you been active or like viewing content or creating, I don't know, maybe you're creating stuff. If not, we're going to follow each other because I'm creating content. So go ahead. How long have you been involved or
I
on
actually don't
TikTok?
have an account. My wife has an account,
Okay. All right.
and we've been up till midnight making these videos every night.
Got you.
And going back to the
I'm gonna have to follow you
concept,
guys.
yeah, going back to the concept of perfecting it before you post it. Go get on TikTok because there's nothing perfected about that content, and these people
Yep.
have millions of
Yep.
followers.
Such an interesting platform to me. Are you guys finding it to be kind of addicting? Like you get on there and you're like, if you're viewing content, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is better than TV or Netflix or whatever. Like there's
Well,
some really entertaining content
yeah,
and educational content and all that. It's very interesting.
so we're primarily interested in the challenges and the dances.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah.
So I think it's addicting because like it is fun to watch, but it's more fun to create because it's really hard to pull off some of this stuff, and you don't know that until you try it.
Yeah, got you. Wait a minute. So are you like a husband and wife team doing the dances,
Oh
doing the
yeah,
challenges?
we got some good stuff out there.
No, I'm following. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely following you guys. I'm gonna connect. So yeah, it's fun. I haven't gotten my wife involved yet. I've shown her some of my videos. So I've actually given her a character in TikTok since she's not like in mine. She has her own character, so she shows up in some of my TikToks. No, from a marketing standpoint. So I think people. I'm curious what your opinion is because I think people were like, "This is dumb. This is an app for 12-year-olds." But I think that is like literally changed in the last 6 months. What are your thoughts on that? Like from a just general marketing standpoint or whatever.
I mean, I really can't speak to it because I haven't really researched it a whole lot.
Okay,
Like I knew it was out there, but I don't even have the app on my phone.
I got you.
It's on
Yet,
my wife's phone. Yeah, yeah.
yet you don't have it
And
yet.
so we've watched some videos. I haven't seen an ad get served on there, so I don't even know what that looks like.
Got you. Yeah, there's definitely ads. I think they're kind of figuring that out themselves as a platform or whatever. So I also heard on a podcast recently that YouTube is coming up with YouTube Shorts, which is like their answer, I guess, kind of to TikTok. So where you can create short vids on YouTube, kind of like what Facebook or Instagram, combination kind of has done to Snapchat, just kind of like copying, but all of those, just adding a feature within the app rather than having to create a new app, right? So if you have the YouTube app, apparently you'll be able to just like create shorts. So I'm interested to see what happens there, because the difference though, I think, is that there's a pretty big darn market share on TikTok already, like as its own standalone app. But I'm very interested to see what kind of new, I don't know, I'm not gonna use the word influencer because I feel like that's so, I don't know, I don't want to say overused, but like people that are everyday people creating some rando content, really random, or like, I'm just curious to see what comes out of that and what can come out of that. To me, it's a beautiful thing. It's, kind of capitalism. Well, actually, one of the coolest cooking shows, I'm gonna call it a cooking show. I think the guy's name is like That Guy Can Cook or something. It's on TikTok. It's like 60 seconds. He's like cooking. He's crazy. He's throwing stuff around in the kitchen. It's really entertaining, and you're like, holy smokes! I just learned how to cut onions in 60 seconds, like an expert. I find it really amazing. I find it really amazing. So, all right, here's kind of what I want to do. Like, I want to just rapid fire. So I wrote down a kind of a list of some social media platforms.
Yeah.
Just rapid fire thoughts. We don't have to go in like 10-minute in depth like on each one of these like we just did for TikTok, but just rapid fire thoughts on what your thoughts are on the platform. Maybe who should use it, like maybe who it's good for, or if you think it like, hey, you can skip this one, or like this type of business should use it. Whatever you want to say, whatever comes to mind about the platform. You ready to go? We're gonna do like rapid fire. You ready?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna stall on one. I already know, because I got a thought on it, but that's all right.
I may not even be on my list, man.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
All right, we'll see. I don't know. All right, the first one I'm gonna go with is Twitter. Thoughts on Twitter?
I've never been into Twitter. It's mostly male, heavy male.
Okay. I haven't either. Like, I can't. All right, I'm just gonna be honest on this show right here. I'm gonna disclose to everyone. I don't know. I don't get it. Like, I don't know how to communicate with people. I know you at people. Like, if I want to communicate directly with you, I would at, like, if your company's Mighty on Twitter, I would at Mighty a message, right? At Mighty.
Yeah.
Or you can like at everyone, and everyone can reply, retweet, and it's for me, it's kind of confusing. I'm not gonna lie. I have Twitter accounts. Do you have Twitter accounts for like yourself and your business?
Yeah, don't use them.
Same here. Yeah, same here. I think we repurpose content or something. I think maybe our Facebook post or something like get retweeted or go on our Twitter accounts. Okay, so no, I'm with you there. All right, number 2, Facebook.
All right. So Facebook, I think everybody should be on. This is the one I wanted to stall on, because the go-to statement that you will hear is that, yeah, but people are leaving the platform because it's not cool anymore. I think that's a false statement.
Okay.
I think one thing I heard a long time ago that I've always held on to is that people are the worst witnesses of their own behavior.
Interesting.
So people say, oh, I heard people are leaving, or I don't use Facebook anymore. You may not be posting on Facebook, but I promise you're opening the app and you're reading content. You're scrolling through the feed. Every age group, all of our interns that come through have Facebook. I ask them the same thing. They all have Facebook. Everybody has Facebook still. So whether or not you're actually posting, you're still on there consuming content.
Great point. And there's still like active users worldwide. There's still like half of the planet's on Facebook, right? Give or take, almost. I mean, or maybe just a little less than half of the planet is the way I kind of look at it. Billions, 2 billion active daily users or something crazy. I don't know.
I mean, it's too big for you to broad stroke say that it's not cool anymore, so nobody's using it. I mean, there's no way. Good
point. Very good point. Okay, so any business, no business is more. Oh wow! If you're in this industry, you should be on Facebook. Basically, across the board, you're like Facebook. You should be on.
Everybody's audience is on Facebook in some form or shape or manner.
Good point. I'm with you. All right, next one is kind of one I don't. Pinterest.
I never got into Pinterest, but I feel like maybe I'm not the right demo. Like, I do feel like that the female audience is on there and using it, and
Yeah.
I'm just not the right demo.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost forgot about Pinterest, and like my wife mentioned Pinterest to me. She's like, "Oh yeah, that was on a Pinterest board." I was like, "Oh yeah, Pinterest."
I would
I
actually
almost forgot
almost
about that.
recommend Pinterest over Twitter if it fit you, like if it fits your audience,
Okay.
because I do hear more people talk about Pinterest and talking about pinning. I just don't use it.
Yeah, almost. It's really interesting how you can be in your world using something and then forget that, oh, there's like millions of users on these other channels that like I don't even access. Like I'm not even there or whatever. And I find that, I find that pretty interesting. So,
Yeah,
all right, next one, Instagram.
I love Instagram, but that's partially because of my industry.
Got you.
Um,
Yep, you're partial.
so Instagram is awesome. It's really popular, but I will say that there are some serious challenges with it. Um, One being that you can't link from a post.
Yep.
So you can't like expect to post something and put a URL and think that you're going to get traffic to that website, because that's likely not going to happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think they did that? I mean, I'm assuming they probably did that on purpose for marketers. I guess you have to drive traffic back to your profile, which has your link, right?
yeah, I mean, you can put a link in your profile. You can run an ad in your story. You can link to an external link if you have 10,000 or more followers.
Interesting. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So
Okay.
if you can get to 10,000 followers, then you're golden. So
Got you.
that's that's the goal, really.
Which takes hustle and grind. I've talked to a few people that have done that with pure hustle grease and elbow grease, and he's like, nah, man, there's no shortcut. He's like, I was working 30, 40 hours a week on Instagram, interacting with accounts and building our brand. Um, so interesting. Okay, I did not know about that feature that you could have an external link on your story if you have 10,000 followers. Cool.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. But
But I
okay,
will say,
yeah.
I mean, I love Instagram. I think it's one of the best ones. Um, Instagram definitely makes it easy for you to get discovered and build a following,
Okay.
because of the way you use hashtags, the way that they use the explore feature. If you're producing video content on there, that gets preferential treatment. The stories, just everything about it. I've had several businesses over my business industry I'm in. I've gotten business in every one of them off of Instagram.
Interesting. Okay, so everything you've been involved with, so that you haven't found an industry where you're like, no, the people aren't there. It hasn't helped, hasn't worked.
Nope.
Very interesting. Okay.
I actually hired a manufacturing company one time because I saw a post that they put on Instagram of a product they make.
Very okay. A manufacturer. You're right. I would not. Now, that also goes to show that like that's the platform you were on and you happened to see them, and maybe if you went searching for manufacturers, maybe you would have done that a different route. I mean, I don't know, maybe you would
Yeah,
have
I mean, if
used
they showed up on the
Google or
first
whatever.
page of Google search results.
Then it's a good point. Then you might have hired them also, or if they had a
Yeah,
paid ad and you checked them out and you thought they were
yeah,
legit or whatever. No, that's a great point.
hmm
But instead, organic on Insta. So
yeah.
um very interesting. Is there any so no industry you can think of that's hey, don't do Instagram. Not
Yeah, I
necessarily.
mean, I think they all serve their own purpose. So like, um, I just love Instagram.
Cool. No, that's awesome. Do Instagram, I'm assuming, so Instagram owned by Facebook. I'm assuming that they pull data. Obviously, clearly they share data, right? So when you're targeting people or whatever, they
Yep.
know they know this Instagram user. They probably know everything that's in their Facebook profile. I'm assuming. Um, do you think that's accurate? So when I'm saying, hey, I want these people, and I'm targeting it on Instagram, that they know all that based on both Instagram and their Facebook
Yeah.
profile.
Yeah. I'm sure at this point, it's been so long since I created my account.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure at this point they almost force you to associate your Facebook with an Instagram, or
Good
have
point.
or have a Facebook to get an Instagram.
Good point. Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah, they probably integrated that because I guess when they made the purchase, yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I guess we'd have to ask. Yeah, we'd have to figure that out. Like just joining a new account, how does that work or operate?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm assuming they can, because I know they're tied together. Because you tie your accounts together to do certain things or whatever. So logging in and that kind of stuff. So
yeah. One thing I want to mention real quick, just because
Mhm.
you brought all that up. You mentioned one thing. What's something that people should absolutely be doing?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a prospect list, let's say you have a list of emails of prospects you're going after, you can upload that list of emails to Facebook, and it will match any profiles that have the same email address and let you run ads against it. Same thing with LinkedIn. Most of these platforms will let you do that. Now, you're not going to get a one-to-one, like 100% match, right? Because if I use my business account, you have my business email, but I signed up on Facebook with a personal email, it may not be able to match it, right?
Right. Exactly.
But in my Facebook, I have my personal email and my work email. So you would be able to match me.
Got you.
So what that allows you to do is put ads in front of the exact people you want to be in front of. No guessing about demographics. You match the email addresses. So we do that for Mighty, and we get like 15 to 18 ad frequency impressions a month with one user. So the one user will see our ad 15 to 18 times. And if you've run ad campaigns, digital ad campaigns before, that's an extremely high ad frequency.
Yeah. Yeah. In a month. Yeah, exactly.
So
that
basically,
could be, yeah, I mean, imagine, I guess if they were online every day, that'd be like once every couple of days, they'd see your ad. But if they were only online like 10 days, they may see your ad like multiple times in the time that they're online or whatever.
Yeah.
So and these are the people that you want to see your ad,
right?
Because you're saying it's a special audience that's good info. And that's called a custom audience on Facebook. Is that right?
Yeah.
Custom audience. All right. So if you're listening to this and you want it like, oh, how do I do that? And you want to try to do it yourself? Yeah. Look up custom audience on Facebook. That's a great point, man. I'm glad you brought that up. That's good. YouTube.
I've never been able to crack the code on YouTube, but I do like it. We started producing more video content. I'll tell you another secret about why YouTube is great. They're owned by Google, obviously.
Yep.
So what is Google in the business of? Search results.
Yep.
So there is a trick to labeling your videos, which will allow your videos to instantaneously jump to first position results.
And that trick is? Got my pen out, man.
Label your video. Label your video for the.
Hold on. Did you just say
search.
it? Hold on. You froze for a second. Did you say it? You gotta say it again, man.
I said it. You missed it. That was it.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Oh man, that was so perfect. You froze, and then you came back. Yeah. I was like, no. That was good.
Yeah. So just to recap, you want to label the title of the video at the very least needs to be whatever the search term is you want to target.
Gotcha.
And it doesn't take time. So if you're familiar with SEO, SEO takes time.
Yep.
This doesn't take any time. It can instantaneously happen. So depending on what the search term is, right, and the competition, but when we tested it, it happened as soon as I posted the video.
What? That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's pretty amazing. On a side note, kind of related to that, podcasts are now being directly served in the Google search results as well, which I find that really interesting. And so whether you're searching for a podcast or it could even be same thing titled whatever, it could be search terms in a podcast and it return those results. I find that really interesting as well. That Google's doing that for podcasting. So, all right, next one on my list is TikTok, man. Which I guess we kind of already covered TikTok. On a personal level, you're like, yes, we're making fun videos. Sounds like on a marketing level, you're not sure yet, but we did decide that people are getting crazy results and following. So what does that mean for them? Maybe we don't know yet. Or whatever.
Yeah. So, I equate it to Snapchat, which might be next up on the list.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we'll combine those two. TikTok, Snapchat. Yep.
Yeah. So, they're definitely like a target demo, right? Like much younger. You're not going to see your CPA on TikTok. I'll promise you that.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
So it's a younger audience. But I will tell you, we run a lot of ads on Snapchat for a client.
Okay.
And we were shocked, absolutely shocked at the results we were getting there and continue to get.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So yeah, we have a Snapchat account for the mobile rundown for that business, but we have kind of stopped using it. So we definitely don't use the platform ourselves. But no, that's interesting feedback. All right, last one is LinkedIn. We'll end on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is great. I mean, I love LinkedIn, and there's a lot of strategy around how to use LinkedIn properly. I mean, there's people who have built consulting businesses on how to market yourself on LinkedIn, because it's so nuanced, not just in like the tools and the way to use it, in terms of functionality, but in terms of like psychology and user behavior.
It's a good point. So do you think, I feel like LinkedIn, also to dive a little deeper on that, I feel like it's kind of morphed itself. Like, before it was only like, it's kind of like online business card or something. Now I feel like it's a little bit more social. It's obviously professional information for sure. But now you can, now there's the ability to go live. Now they're trying to you can create events. It's very interesting, some of the upgrades and changes that are coming out on LinkedIn. And from my understanding, the reach is pretty good, where, or like organic reach is apparently pretty decent as well. Is that what you guys are finding also?
Yeah. I mean, I've never had an issue with reach or impressions. In fact, what I've seen is that your content lasts longer. Like, I'll get likes and interaction from posts from like 2 weeks ago.
That's really weird. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know what that is, and I don't know why that happens, but what are your thoughts on that? I've actually noticed the exact same thing. I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, I posted that a week ago, and some random, a person's like comments or they like it. What?
Yeah.
Do you think it's? I wonder why it takes that long to get served to that person, or it's like the content lives longer, almost like has a longer shelf life.
I kind of suspect it has to do with user behavior. So like, I read something one time that the two most popular days for LinkedIn are Monday and Tuesday, because people hate their jobs.
Gotcha.
What they're doing is they're logging on to LinkedIn Monday and Tuesday because they're going back to work, and they're like, I got to get out of here,
Gotcha.
And at the end of the week, they've already checked out, so they don't really care anymore.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So I always try to post early in the week for that purpose. And I think like Facebook, you're on it like every half hour probably.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, you probably check it maybe once a day, more than likely maybe twice a week.
Good point. Yeah, good point. That's good. Although I will say it's been more for me, like downloading the mobile app for LinkedIn. It's been a lot more. I've used it much more since I've done that. Downloading the app. They actually do a really good condensed version of like news and like articles that their editors put out, and I think that only comes out on the app. Like, so I just kind of I find that interesting. But yeah. All right. Well, cool, man. Look, we've been chatting an hour, so I'm gonna let you go. I know you got stuff to do, but so if folks want to reach out to you or to Mighty and have a conversation, what is the best way for them to do that? For them to reach out?
So the best way to find us is to go to mightyadvertising.com. That's our website. You can actually live chat with us there, or contact us through email or phone. Look us up on Instagram. You'll get a really good sense of the kind of work we do there. If by chance you're listening to this in the midst of coronavirus or after, we have 2 landing pages out there that allow you to reach out to us if you need help with e-commerce or digital advertising specifically. So go to ecommerce.mightyadvertising.com or digitalads.mightyadvertising.com.
Love it. Jarrett, that's good, man. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us, and you guys stay safe, and man, we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
All right. Take care. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. That was Jarrett McCraw with Mighty Advertising. Super excited to have that discussion with him. He dropped tons of knowledge. Really good. So go back, listen to it again, see what tidbits that you can take and apply to your business. And for us, Gulf Coast BizCon, we're looking to connect and engage side hustlers, small business owners, entrepreneurs. So make sure you connect with us. You can hop on our website, gulfcoastbizcon.com, and connect with us there. And we'll see you guys on the next interview. Take care.